What up, my freaks? RuinusInsight here with part 18 of my Total War Warhammer 3 modded Tyrion Immortal Empires expanded campaign. So as we saw last time, a bunch of hard-fought battles as our new armies seek to, move further and further afield from Ulthuan. They're fighting some foes that are certainly hitting back. Unfortunately, one of those hard-fought battles was bugged in the sense that though we defeated the garrison coming out of the massive Overhaul, the garrison immediately punted us out of the siege and then magically revived to 100% HP. This unit escaped, and it recovered by maybe 25% of its HP, or maybe 50%, I'm not entirely sure. What I do know is that certainly new garrison shouldn't start at 100% HP everywhere, but what can you do? On the bright side, this time we have some cannon fodder, orc fodder, what have you, in the form of the peasants, as a bunch of battle pilgrims move to aid us. Kind of appropriate that it's a bunch of battle pilgrims, A, because it's the Fey Enchantress, and B, because we just played the Fey Enchantress, so yeah, feels appropriate. Anyway, I guess we're starting the fight with this particular fight once again. Let's try to make sure, if at all possible, to chase down and kill every single unit so that doesn't happen again. Go. Listen, what was that indeed? Here we go once again. Now, this strategy worked out pretty well the last time, the first time we fought this darn battle, so we're going to repeat the strategy to some degree, i.e. we will still keep Corhill and the melee units hidden over on this side of the map and distract a decent portion of the enemy army with the fast movers on the other. That said, since the AI's reinforcements, the Bretonnian reinforcements, are coming in on this side of the map, we are further incentivized to make a use of them here. So, as usual, we'll start the day off with charging the Illyrian Reavers directly into the Boar Boys. Boar Boy begins at that. But fortunately, we are anti-large, and the bonus does tell, even with the fragility of the Illyrian Reavers, with the help of the War Lions and the Eagles, the Boar Boys are torn to shreds rather quickly, or at the very least, one of the units is. The second unit will have Trolls backing them up, but we can't reinforce with the units that have just defeated those Boar Boys until they are down to the point that they cannot revive. So this is where the difficult portion of the battle will come in. Every unit has to be completely destroyed, and that's more critical than avoiding damage to our units. So we'll see how that works out. Anyway, over on the left flank, we have revealed our units of War Lions and the Illyrian Reavers. They have damaged severely, but not enough to shatter a unit of Orc Boar Boys, which shall return to the battlefield, and for now we will back off until we're ready to surround and attack them again. Here we will mob the unit of Trolls with a lot of units, including Eagles, both units of Eagles, as well as our Sky Cutter riding Mist Mage. Make sure that those Trolls are out of the picture for good, as they regenerate while they run, and we certainly don't want them reviving. In the meantime, Black Orcs have closed the distance, and a last fight, the Black Orcs smashed into the Silvern Guard, and the units of Pure Main Company tore them to shreds by hitting them in the back and, cracking those armor pieces off. I don't know why I said it like that. I was thinking of cracking the shell of the Ragnarok, or the, the exoskeleton that we have here, but that'll come later. But anyway, it works the same as the giant spider versus the Black Orcs. Either way, the Pure Main Company should be able to handle them. They'll take more damage this way, of course, without the Silvern Guard to act as an anvil, but at the same time, they will probably have more units attacking them at the same time, and thus will do a little bit of damage faster. And with the armies separated from each other, that does technically work in our favor, especially since we can always move our units out, as we now have 1 billion peasant fodder units moving on to the battlefield. Like so. Alright, and hopefully these guys will serve to tie the enemy up. And ooh, here come those spinning loons. That's going to hurt a lot of the peasants, and frankly a lot of our own Silvern Guard as well. And once again, we are not going to be as concerned with taking damage in this particular battle. If we need to take extra damage in order to make sure that a unit is wiped out, we will absolutely take it. I'm not getting punted out of this and fighting the same battle a third time, that's for damn sure. Anyway, chasing down the Night Goblins. Now, unfortunately, with a little bit of help from the Peasant Bowman Archers, the units are running that way should be out of the picture. There are still plenty of enemies milling around here, but are being mobbed by the Bretonnians. And over on the left flank, our units of Illyrian Reavers and Warlines are still working. Another unit of Orc Boar Boys is terrified. Terrified? Oh, the Warlines cause fear. The Warlines cause terror. Interesting. Huh, wait, is that something that they are given by Corhill? Maybe it is. I wouldn't expect the Warlions cause terror. I would expect them to cause fear. I think, I don't remember what it was. It was something like Taurox or something like that only causes fear and not terror. And I remember thinking, I see that thing coming at me. I'm gonna be pretty terrified. And then to see the lions, granted, a horse-sized lion is pretty terrifying, but compared to the stuff that you regularly encounter in the armies of the Warhammer world, let's have some perspective here. But anyway, it might be something that Coral does. I gotta double check what his traits confer. Either way, they're doing a good job. They've torn apart those boar boys and are gonna make sure to chase down any units. We are using our more heavily damaged units to chase enemies down, while our less heavily damaged units continue the fight. And the Bretonnians have continued to mob the enemy Black Orcs here, which is just fine. I'm sure the Black Orcs will reap a fearsome tally amongst those battle pilgrims. But the Bretonnians can always make more battle pilgrims. Kind of their whole shtick. And the archers are hitting the battle pilgrims just as much. Let's see how their stats are. 40 and 30 and 55 weapon strength. Obviously not comparable to the kind of stats that we have on our own battle pilgrims in the Enchantress campaign. Anyway, the Black Orcs are still holding. The Giant actually routed and rallied, but I'd wager not for long, as the rest of the enemy army is in pretty dire straits. Bounce powers are 90% in our favor. The Arachnarok has arrived for its exoskeleton to be cracked by those axes of ours, though it doesn't stick around for a long, as artillery and range fire all focus it down, and it's always also basically impossible to see beneath the canopy of the trees there. And with the shattering of the Arachnarok, the enemy army shatters, and the battle is ours. Alright, now comes the second part, which is making sure that every single unit is chased down, but we'll do that off screen. Alrighty, there we go. Annoyingly, it probably felt like it, well, not for you guys, but for me, longer to chase down the enemy and make sure that every single unit died, rather than it did to actually fight the fight. But at the end of the day, it was necessary, and we bypassed the bug by making sure that every single orc, goblin, giant, spider, troll, whatever you have in the greenskin army was annihilated. With a lot of help from the fast movers, 40,000, Warhammer 40,000 damage on the third unit of Exalted Illyrian Reavers. Very nice. Very nice indeed. How did you get so much more damage than everybody else by such a huge margin? Even the Pure Main Company got 20k, although, no, they still had high damage Delta's gold value too. I don't know, these guys just did really well. Good for them. And yeah, let's see. The bolters were basically firing at not blobs, but single entities the entire time. So low kill count, but decent damage and damage Delta and damage Delta's gold value. Occupy. Which also destroys the orcs. I'm surprised that Grom didn't come back for that last fight. Right. Oh, look at that. Peace has been negotiated with... Okay, Albrecht, please.
My temper is quick.
Wolfric, please. Is this the time? And now I forgot what I was talking about. For the love.
I am sure we will reach an accord.
Come on, man. Don't hold out on me, man. Anyway, military access, no.
I will hear you gladly.
Democracy, trade agreement. Huh. Okay, yes. Yes, actually. Oh, right. Last time I saved the trade agreement in case we were going to deal with this, to trade this. But at the same time, I suppose we could just trade one of these for it. Assuming that we can take it. Yeah, go for the trade agreement. Why not make the extra money? And would you please... See, I completely forgot what the heck I was talking about now. Oh, right. And then I immediately remembered. The defenders of the... Seriously? Really? Are you going to stop ever? No. No non-aggression pact. Go away. You've been trespassing in our land for about 8,000 years. We good? That it? Not even going to start. Not even going to start talking until I know it's gone. Okay. The last defenders pieced out with the Court of Libaras. They're still not super fond of each other, but I do wonder if they'll get back into the fight. They do share territory. Oh, they're both fighting the Bloody Hands now. I wonder if they can handle them themselves. Arkan is also around, and he's doing pretty well, so that's obviously going to remain a concern. Enemy killed in battle, province secured, Barrows of Quila, not for long, broken hacks destroyed, speaking trees, layers of Clarkarond completed, we'll do the blurb in a bit, gem setting, income from industry buildings, good, sea elementals, Athel Tamar have faith bearers, oh, we get there's even a blurb for them, beautiful. Ancient Salamanders, we are not going to read, and neither the Jangu War Drums, just because, like I said, I'd like to keep those limited to their own campaigns. One of the rat factions we're at war with. Where are you going? You're not near any of our... Not near enough to us to attack us, and since we traded this stuff to the lizards, it looks like the Dark Elves backed off. I'm surprised they didn't immediately go here, but that's fine for now. Technology. We could go for the Eastern trade contracts for the tradable resources produced, income from province capital settlement buildings, just straight up money, or we go for... I mean, it's really Ancestral Unity that we're looking to get for the construction time. So it isn't as critical that we get this. At least... Oh, wait. Oh, right. Maximum value is 250. Yeah, we have to get this now because we can't save up anymore. I forgot about that. Oh, that's a little bit annoying considering the max is 200. So you can't quite save up as much. But I understand why it's designed like that. Fair enough. So you can't save it and then get all of it at once.
I shall.
Oh well. Influencer, while I have you, while you're right here. Go to Tiger Cage odds full of rats, and then you can steal influence from them next turn. For now, though, it's Tyrioning time. How are we 3 turns until another Invocation of Vault's gonna cost 12k at that point. But it is what it is. Why are you suffering attrition? Really? Mutagenic energies? Really? Oh no. Are you kidding me? It's going to kill off the princess. That is genuinely obnoxious. And there's nothing we can do about that, right? We have to reset her or disband her and then bring her back. What's her skill points like? Doesn't need to be reset, really. That is infuriating. I wonder... Wait. It bypasses the invocation of Isha, doesn't it? Yeah, we're immune to attrition, but we're not immune to attrition. And I take it we can't get any more money back, so this is just generally... And you're not immortal either, wow. Actually, I'm glad that it just didn't straight up kill you. That would have been such an annoying way to lose a lord. Alright, well, I guess we have no choice in the matter. We are going to disband you for now, Hennermara.
Awaiting orders.
Can we replace it with... I guess we can replace it with an admin lord and then put them back into the fight after. So let's get a prince or princess. Oh, we got another dashing one. Although I think we only need the one dashing one. The punitive one is a better option for another army. In fact, well, I'd love to spend the influence elsewhere. I think I do want to get the punitive princess up and running before she disappears, because there is another army that I think we can put this to use with. The missile resistance minus 20% is really nice. Let's do that. Not what I would call a ranged army. No mount for you for now, but certainly something. Anyway, we'll do that. Then we will get an admin lord. Right here. This means this army can't move for a turn, but is what it is. In fact, rather than replacing... I assume we can bypass this. Wait. It cost us the turn, but do this. You go here. Go for, I don't know, Princess, Poltroon, leadership -5 for army, whatever. Go here. Go here. Go like this. The same thing we do every time. And Elven Scholar, and then I guess Quartermaster so we can get renowned and feared. Did I forget something? Well, if I did, it's too late now. No Griffin for you. And rename to Admin. Hey, you're not Fayadian. Admin Faya. There we go. That is a legendary name. You have not earned it. You transfer the entire army here. And then disband. You're gonna be wounded for 5 turns. So annoying. Just wondering if there's a way to bypass this, but whatever, I guess. And I feel like that whichever Tzeentchian faction did this, do they even have vision? Wait, mutagenic energies. Can Kairos do that, or is that a village thing? Can he even see us? He's not at war with us. Is he just annoying us? I wouldn't be surprised. Whatever. Yeah, disband for now. Yes, I know he can reset, and it'll be 3 turns rather than 5, but I don't want to redo the skills. We'll bring you back. And then, oh, you're not going to suffer attrition, so you're actually free to channel. Your mage will still be done. Oh, and then because she had to be reset, Hennermar is going to have to, she's going to have to rechannel her entire set of magic, and Favor Calidor will be gone by the time she's back, because of course. Oh well. Admin Electra, go to Recto Gorge, which you can just barely reach. But you can reach. That's the important part. And auto-resolve, I assume no one will die. Really? The Silver Helm? The auto-resolve is going to hate the Silver Helms? Really? Oh, great. This is going to be every auto-resolve with Tyrion's army now, isn't it? I mean, this is kind of... maybe once we get more stats on them, they'll be a little bit better. They might be moving a little bit too fast, but Tyrion's moving even faster. And so are the Phoenixes, so... eh? Should it really be doing that? But what can you do? Let's go for Rebuild Lost Splendor. Let's immediately pop up that plaza and don't collect the income as yet. Tyrion, then you are going to move around Eldar Spire. These guys have 4 settlements remaining. Eldar Spire. Oh, they have this. Chimerica Spire after Rothgar Spire. Yeah. No military presence though, right? Sorry about that, cat. Anyway, what was I saying? Damn it. Everything's interrupting me today. Admin Faya. Yeah, I guess you can take this. I hate to waste Tyrion's time going down there when Valkia is right there. You know? You know? You know. Alright, Tyrion, screw it. Go this way. Go towards Valkia. Edmund Werna, you, I guess, have to deliver these troops to Admin Faya. Anyway, so many admins running around. And then you can stay in Rakdo Gorge for now. And hey, a level up. Isn't that nice? That maxes out your Elven Scholar. You will be transferred to another army, so it depends on which of these lines you take. As in, we'll find out later. Tyrion, while I have you... let's name a few of the things in your army that are going to be kept forever now. So you will be Oceans Protectors. I assume I haven't put that on one of the other Sea Guard armies. Admittedly, we have a lot of them. Tweety, you're going to be joined by Phoenix, right? Like so. Good. Then let's do Silver Helms with... I'm going to say Lances first, because we started with the Lances rather than the Swords, didn't we? Unless I'm mistaken, because by the looks of it, they're much higher ranks. I guess we could do 1 and 1. Anyway, you're going to be Gleaming Legion. Gleaming Legion. Makes sense. You're part of the Glittering Host. I guess you're higher level. You can be the Asur team. Like so. Alright, so you guys are named. Let's do the 2 Phoenix Guard while we're here. Sons of Asuryan. And you can be Flames of the Reborn. It does fit. Reborn alike. So, I don't remember what I was going to replace the Eagle Club Bolter with. Oh, yes, I do. The Fire Mage on a dragon, so that we have Siege Attacker in the army. But until she gets here and until she gets her dragon, nothing we can do. Alright. Then one of the Gate Guard, I guess. Watchers of the Way. Alright, good enough. Some nice names for Tyrion at the very least. Actually, while we're on this side of the map, Tyrion Chariots, you've been doing a good job. Some of you will become exaltified in reasonably short order. You can be Wheels of Fortune. Fortune. Wheels of Fortune would be a decent name for a War Lion chariot. Okay, maybe I'll... Let's do that. 1 second. You can be Tyrion Chariots. Thanks for the reminder that I wanted to name one of you that, because I misspoke when I said Tyrion Chariots and called them Tyrion. See, it's already happening. Yeah, anyway, where are you? Nope. What the heck? Where? Huh? Warline Chariots. So many lords running around. You can be Wheels of Fortune. Fantastic. Oh, this reminded me of the Bashiva campaign and the billion cat puns that that campaign was all about. Anyway, let's check out diplomacy. Since one trade agreement was asked for, we have another. Oh, I didn't even realize we weren't trading with the Lotus Yakshi. How's that outpost looking? No, not with you. What the heck? I was going for Lotus Yakshi. One more turn. Oh, please, Wood Elf units. I need Gib. Rel Doomborn, sure. Everybody really wants him dead, huh? Halber up here. Yeah, sure. And now you're going for this place. I don't really care that much if you take it, to be perfectly honest. You just wonder whether you're capable of taking Doomkeep. Frankly, if you take this will enable us to go out here and deal with, you know, more important things. Maybe we just leave them to it. And to be frank, these guys and these guys are all supposed to trade troops and get different armies going, so frankly, if now that we've broken Norska, if these guys want to take the territory, I think maybe we'll let them do so. Anyway, what was I going to do? First of all, convoys are fine. Did you level again? You did level again. Rank 9 now. Oh, no, but you're saving points for all of this good stuff. Yeah. And then stay as you are. At least for now. Let's get back to doing stuff in order then. Oh, huh. Henarmara used to be high in the order, but now, since we've moved her, will she now be lower in the order? I wonder. Oh wow, Mordheim. Looks neat. Look all the warpstone and stuff around here. Neat indeed. Anyway, Influencer, go here to Nagenhof. Griffinwood, what do we have in terms of defenses? It is a full stack, and we haven't fought a lot of Chaos Dwarfs, so this is a good time to do it. Though I do wonder if we... I was about to say, if we move Alistar here...
I serve the king.
Or whether we push in with Colin and then move Alistar further afield, but we probably wouldn't be able to get to Nagenhof anyway. Even if we travel through Griffinwood. It is possible, but it's unlikely. And then if we don't, and even if we move away from it, what'll happen is Durgrime Drakbeard could attack Griffinwood. So to me, that says we just attack it directly. Okay, fair enough. You're at war with nobody? You are allied with Tamarkan, and you're at war with nobody. And Tamarkan is at war with... Okay, he's at war with a bunch of factions. Oh, right, he was one of the ones trying to wipe out Bashiva, and yeah, she remains in bad shape. Alright, well, we're declaring war on Disciples of Kashut here. Solid 15 settlements. Tamarkan will join in, fair enough. I guess we gotta help, well, not really help the Dowie out. Actually, if these guys could lose Karazkarek and we could reclaim the Phoenix Crown easier, that would be lovely. I wanted to check up on this. Okay, so Rel Doomborn, I'm sure, yeah, he'll be recovering those units that, well, are capable of recovering. We still need to wait for 3 turns here. You will punt the... Oh, we can't. Ah, that's a shame. Anyway, I'm gonna get you the Talons of Torcalida, because they have the flammable weakness. Although... Ah. And this is also a unit that we could possibly use in Alariel's army. Because she's going to buff archers significantly. I guess she doesn't necessarily need the Talons of Torqualada as opposed to the all-fire army. Yeah, fine, go for the Talons of Torqualada. Which will give us another blurb, but a very short one. I think the shortest blurb of all. So far, anyway. Anyway, since these guys are taking a while, I feel like we should grab a few of the cheaper, and by cheaper I mean faster recruiting units here. Let's just do some basic silver and well, basic. I mean, they're tier 2. I've always found it a little bit odd that Silver and Guard and Spearmen share the same tier, but I guess whatever. Let's do some Silver and Guard for now to help hold the line, just in case those guys attack again. And we'll get whatever else we can. Grab a couple of Eagle Claw Bolt Throwers. Again, just temporarily. Just so that we have some stuff in this army. Oh wow, we can recruit Exalted units at 1 turn now? That's quite neat. Huh. I'm gonna double check later to see if any of them do fire damage. I don't think they do, but it's something I'd like to double check. Alright, well. That looks decent. And then you leveled up last fight, didn't you? We have Gehenna's Golden Hounds, and well, I guess we should get Inspiring Presence. Let's grab Metal Shifting. Glittering Robe could be useful, but the physical resistance isn't particularly useful against Nurgle. I'm gonna say grab Metal Shifting, I guess. It's really these two spells that we're mostly casting. I wish your skill was better, because you did a pretty good job. Anyway, you can continue building salamanders. 2 more at the very least of the regular salamander hunting packs. We'll see what we have room for. I'm just kind of building stuff right now. It doesn't mean that we necessarily will keep all the stuff that we're doing that with. Most likely, to buff the salamanders, we will want a... Actually, a question will be, do we want a fire mage to lead the fire army? Or will we want a princess to lead the fire army and thereby buff them all considerably? A lot of them will be range, and... Oh! The salamanders also cause fire weakness, just like the Talons of Torqualada. Oh, maybe I should have put them in the Everqueen's army then. Yeah, but they probably have fire arrows, which will look good with this. I will continue considering it. Anyway.
Guardian of the Phoenix Crown.
I'm wondering whether we want to put any of these guys in this army. Do we want to wait for one with a better trait? Maybe we don't. Overzealous defense. Immunity to contact effects and ward save plus 10%. We actually have to also figure out what kind of handmaiden the Everqueen's gonna have, but I guess we'll get one on field either way. Oh right, I was thinking about the aura that we want. Do we want a princess commanding or a fire mage commanding? I will continue considering it. Most likely Princess is just better because princesses can buff these guys with additional reload. For example, the Energetic Princess out here is plus 20% speed, plus 20% reload to the entire army, regardless of anything else. So this would be a very good commander that would help the range units and everything in that army, really. And we could dedicate to you... Can we? Yeah, we can dedicate you to a Death, which, funnily enough, doesn't give you fire attacks. What about, that's surprising. Does Asuryan give you fire attacks? Asuryan also does not give you fire attacks. So neither of the two... The Bringer of Wrath and neither of the two fire gods... Okay. Whatever, game. Whatever, man. Yeah, we'll just ignore that. It doesn't matter. We can get fire attacks on you fairly easily either way. Yeah, we'll deal with that later. Anyway, I got distracted by a million things. Alistar, I need you to kill things now.
Your will is
Make me forget. What do we have here? White Lions and War Lions. Do they share traits? No. White Lions are here. War Lions are in Silver Torrent. Immovable Force, however, buffs... Oh! Rangers aren't here. Where are Rangers? Oh, right. I think I vaguely remember looking for Rangers and seeing that none of the red line buffs include Rangers. Is that the case? No, they're right here. They're also in Silver Torrent. Oh, it's just missile resistance, speed, and weapon strength versus melee defense. I really would have preferred that. Nonetheless, go for a movable force. I'll use the white line for the white lines, I guess, and then we'll do Silver Torrent afterwards. Anyway, time to go. Oh, actually, not time to go. Time to level and then go. Not quite 2 retinue trainer, nonetheless. Oh, wait, you're not yet ready to save points for this, although you probably soon should. Kira. And then you, Life Mage. Still in this army, hopefully not forever. I'm gonna say... go for the Dwellers Below to overcast it. It's Arcane Conduit that I want. I was tempted to grab the Emergency Flesh to Stone, because it's still quite useful. And, ooh, hello, Cullen, are you gonna be a leader? No, you're fortuitous. Therefore, you're free to dedicate to Vol for the free money that we'll get. There we go. Section-wide, after all. Now, you, fight at Griffinwood. Let's see how the Chaos Dwarfs defend this place. Oh, they don't actually get the wood map. Interesting. Well, go. Alrighty, here we go. I guess it's another round of the Lion armies. Corhill has fought, now Alistar will fight as well. But we're fighting Chaos Dwarf, certainly not a faction that we have encountered in this campaign as yet, so I'm interested to see how this all will go. We're going to start the day off with our Vanguard deployed Rangers that are in this army. They were deployed here behind the enemy army, with the goal of rushing towards the enemy artillery, as well as all those enemy blunderbusses. And I'm sure that with their twin blades they can cut down whatever they can. We are going to pop off a Dwellers Below, I believe non-overcast, just in the midst of the enemy army. It's just going to clip some goblin laborers, which are obviously not a threat, but at the same time we can just quickly cut down the numbers of the enemy chaff. Plus the units of the White Lions here have 41 movement speed, and they have pretty much a full battle map to cross. So we gotta help out the Rangers as they are quite fragile. Anyway, Alistar will move past the Dwellers Below and towards the enemy Lord, but really just to tie up the enemy artillery, just the enemy Lord happens to be here. Not that we should be all that scared of the poor little Hobgob bolt throwers there, as they're not going to be all that threatening. Anyway, the Lions and Alistar alike are whacking away at the enemies. I do always wonder whether this means that this chariot has actual multiple attacks happening at the same time. Like, are they actually registered as different attacks, or are they not? Like, do they take turns attacking? There's Alistar's swing, then there's the Lion's swing. But if they're both in range, they may just be... I have no idea. Anyway, what's important is that the Rangers have closed the distance, have cut to shreds a few units, and are now hacking apart Goblin and their masters alike, or Hobgob and their Chaos Dwarf masters alike, and for Hagra's Pride, as well as the units of War Lions have moved in to help. Finally, the first of our units of White Lions have arrived, and they're ready to break apart that armor. The Chaos Dwarf Sundering armor brings the Chaos Dwarf warriors down to a mere 40 armor, which means they are going to have a very bad time here. White Lions being a pretty solid unit to use against heavily armored dwarven foes, and there's a distinct likelihood that we will have to fight some regular dwarfs down the line, so this is certainly something to be mindful of. Anyway, big old battle. Sorry about the camera jumping around, my mouse is being obnoxious today. Oh, whatever. Yeah, the battle is well and truly being fought, I guess, now as every unit is engaged. It's a big old brawl with the Lions, War Lions, White Lions, and Elven Rangers fighting together. At the same time, the AI is going to be, this is, I believe, the second or third use of its abilities, dropping its abilities upon us. Not caring about the fact that it's hitting, well, okay, I mean, they wouldn't care about hitting their own Hobgobs. Huh? Wait, it can use that ability twice in a row? What the heck? That's new. I'm pretty sure last time that's Blood and Fire, right? Oh, yes it is. Yeah, it's Flame and Shadow. Okay, I was wondering why they were able to use in fight. I think one was Blood and Fire, or whatever it was called, and the other one was the one that's tied to the Lord. They look similar, but are in fact different. I'm 90% sure that's what happened there. Anyway, not important. What is important is that they hit their own hobgobs, which, again, they wouldn't really care about, but they also hit their own Chaos Dwarf warriors, which they would care about. Well, care may be a strong word, but the Chaos Dwarfs are few in number and are not likely to just waste their own Chaos Dwarfen troops. That's what the hobgobs are for. And the hobgobs take a nice lion bite and claw to the face, and white lion axe to the face for the dwarfs as well. But they are running low on numbers as well. Soon the hobgobs will be just as not numerous as the Chaos Dwarfs themselves, especially in this battle. As with that, the enemy army shatters and the battle is ours. Another nice win for Alistar, and great work out of the Elven Rangers. Again, I've really been enjoying using them in this particular campaign, and the Vanguard deploying them behind the enemy army worked out quite well. Frankly, in another army, what I might do is combine some Rangers with some Shadow Warriors, because then we could have deployed Vanguard deployed behind an enemy army, Rangers to go into melee, and then the Shadow Warriors to provide range support, while maybe a faster moving contingent rushes them from the front. Maybe combine that with some cavalry or something like that. I was thinking about what to do with a army with Dragon Princes. Or perhaps some monsters. I haven't decided yet, but there's definitely a lot of still combinations that I would like to try out. Anyway, for now, a great fight. Alrighty, there we go. Forgot to put the Wailing Banner on whoever previously had it. You can hold it, Noble. Anyway, there we go. A very nice fight. I have been, once again, actually surprisingly happy with the Rangers. Granted, exalted variant of them, but they do decent work, especially mincing those weaker infantry units. In fact, while they did overall less damage than the White Lions, but White Lions, A, higher tier, and B, buffed up by Alistar here, so this is still very impressive work. For the White Lions, at 27k, the Order of the Main takes the prize, and we did not name the Rangers, but we will name you shortly. And if, in fact, we should reward you for that performance, as 21k damage is very solid. Yes, alright, we do have Ranger names. Good. Rahagra's Pride, got beaten by the White Claws here with 29k damage, but frankly, Miltzi's Pride also did fairly well, and the Warlock... Oh, you're unnamed. I got a name for you too. Alright. Yeah, overall, just very good work, and 35k on the Eagles. But Eagles always do well, even though they're not supposed to be in this army, but nonetheless. Occupy the place, please. Like so, enemy killed in battle, Griffinwood secured, though not for long. We'll be giving it to another Wood Elf faction. Let's rebuild Lost Splendor for now. And next turn I'm going to build those stone walls before we transfer it to the Wood Elves. Or maybe not, I don't know if it's going to take too long. Either way, you go here. Alistar, you have leveled. And therefore, you have to choose between Silver Torrent for basically half the army, or Stand Your Ground. Oh, both really good options. I gotta go with Silver Torrent. It's not a big buff, unfortunately, but it just affects so many troops in this army, I feel like we should. You have reached rank 14, meaning Spirited Presence into Sense of Duty for Hold the Line, now buffing up 10, giving everybody plus 10 melee defense around you. You, Arcane Conduit, please. Then, the Rangers, off of that performance, no. Storm of Blades is already named. You will be Kernus Striders. You will be Pure Coat Ambushers, and you will be Mighty... Oh, this is not going to fit. Mighty Morphin Elven Ran. It's too long. All I can do is delete Mighty. Morphin Elven Rangers. Mighty Elven Rangers? Nah, but that... I get the idea, but I'm just gonna go with Morphin Elven Rangers. There's no way that it fits otherwise. It's just too long. I guess I could go Mighty Morphin E-Rangers, but that's not... Wait. What about Mighty... about elf rangers. Yes, this is tremendously important. And delete the... Oh, still short by 1. Come on. Alright, screw it then, mighty. Just morphin elven rangers. They're still mighty. You just have to imagine it. Morphin elven rangers. Alright. There we go. That was completely necessary. Alright, now I have put blurbage off long enough. We have a blurb or two that we have to get through. First of all, there's a Clarkaron, short blurb. And got up to tier 3. Ooh, you can start collecting income now. Oh, wow, yeah, it's a waste. No, don't bother. 400 income isn't going to make enough of a difference. Layers of Clarkaron. Clarkaron is famed for its beastmasters. It was here, many centuries long ago, that the Knights of Hag Grief brought the first Cold Ones to be broken, and much later that of the ferocious Charybdis of the Deeps were bent to the Dark Elves' will. Now, manticore pens, harpy cages, and other enclosures are as common in Clarkaron as the temples of Khaine. Both are outnumbered by the pelt-draped shrines of Anathrema, for the goddess of the savage hunt has ever been the patron of beastmasters. Thus, when the armies of Clarkaron go to war, they do so in Anathrema's name, driving her savage children before them to break the enemy lines with tooth and claw. Appropriate, considering the battle we just fought. Sea Elementals. According to the... Oh, wow, this is a long one. So we'll do this one, then we'll switch up to doing other stuff. According to the scholars of Ulthuan, the Jade Wind of Ghyran bears a deep affinity with water. Those with a sight can watch it fall like rain, gather in pools, and flow within rivers. Yet nowhere does it concentrate more potently than in the vast oceans surrounding the High Elven homeland. Along the coasts of Yvresse and Lothern, the currents themselves are said to gleam faintly with its life-laden glow. For ages, these clumps of concentrated Ghyran drifted unseen, creating strange pockets of exuberant vitality, sudden blooms of seaweed, spiraling shoals of luminous fish, or eerie gatherings of jellyfish that pulsed with unnatural color. But where the wind pools most intensely, the waters can awaken into towering humanoid forms, the beings mortals call sea elementals. While the Jade College of the Empire debates their nature from afar, the High Elves know the truth of them better than any race. It was the mages of Ulthuan who first learned to commune with these spirits and bind their destructive vigor to elven purpose. Though not truly tame, the elementals answer the call of those who can harmonize with Ghyran's flow, fighting alongside elven hosts with roaring tides and crushing waves. Left to their own devices, sea elementals are joyous in their violence, smashing ships, birthing whirlpools, and drowning foes in the churning depths of their own bodies. But under High Elven guidance, that wild power becomes a weapon of precision, living water turned to the defense of Ulthuan. Lovely. Okay, who is next? Cadrill. You are headed to the shipwreck and then on to the awakening or whoever of the vampire coasties. You're gonna fight me. We should land here at Smash Jim the Stasher. Smash the Stasher. And on a good way. Who knows with Cadrill. Anyway, they sail to the wreck and auto-resolve. And I guess around some captives we won't be able to land immediately anyway, so we should just be able to heal up. Like so, income for post-battle loot, a little bit of money, a little bit of XP, and that puts you up to rank 19, isn't that lovely? Alright, go here. Storm. But we are immune to storm attrition for... Yeah, we're still immune, good.
Lady of Ulthuan.
I was tempted to say go into March stance or full speed stance, go right here.
Resting on my journey.
I think we should still be able to land at Poxmarsh, unless I'm mistaken. Also, you. Master Archer, missile strength plus 10 for the army, and Reaver arrows, explosive arrows for you personally. Oh, magical damage. Oh, I like that very much. Thank you for the magical damage. That's going to be coming in handy, because then we won't have to rely on giving you magical damage. You are saving... No, not for excellent efficiency, at least not yet. We do use Mistress of the Deeps a fair bit, so let's get to that. Writhing Mist will also be of use to us, though it is expensive, but in certain times, especially against the Vampire Coast with their heavy artillery, being able to hide our army is... of pretty paramount importance, and the missile block chance is also obviously quite helpful. You noble. We got Horsemaster, which was the important thing here, although experience of years ain't too bad either. Also, what mount are you on? You aren't on no mount. I don't like the... Well, I guess Cadrill is on the dragon for now. Until we get another dragon and another army, so maybe she's fine as she is. A retinue physician for you. Ooh, favored by Isha. Control for all provinces. Good. Noble. Back to you, sir. Yeah, let's just go hard to hit. At least get Foe Seeker to be able to reposition faster. Okie dokie, that was Kadrill. Even, Alrighty, so... trying to remember... was I going to give the Sea Elemental to Teclis? I guess I was. Alright, fine, fair enough. Did I get an Admin Lord? Yes, I did. Admin Adis. Take all this. Go to Teclis. A delivery must be made. And travel fast as you can down here. You can do the same. And hello. Oh, no, we can't get this. Oh, although we can probably with this army because it's stronger. You can... yeah, shipwreck. Go down here. And try not to get sunk by the Vampire Coast while you're at it. I'm just gonna hope that they can't reach you where you currently are. Oh, they can travel pretty far. Or should I say, pretty... yar. Anyway, let's just hope you don't die. It would be unfortunate. As there's some good stuff in here. But we'll see. Kevin, you will need to continue... oh, actually, for one turn, we're going to switch back to rebuild Lost Splendor as Lothern will be upgradable once more. Can we get to it in 2 turns? No. Unfortunately, we cannot. But it is what it is. Oh, and Torkar is about to be upgraded as well. But it is what it is as well. And this place is not where it's supposed to be. You can do this, though, and then you can switch to growth. Banish corruption, please. Also, how are we doing here? Fair bit of a while, and Gaian Vale. Oh. Huh. We could actually go to Evershale in the Gaian Vale, travel through this, prioritize Lothern over South Yvres. Yeah, maybe. Although at 4 turns, maybe this wouldn't save us any amount of time. You know what, start on this, it's free anyway, and then we'll see. You two then proceed down to Evershale. We'll upgrade the Gaian Vale, and go through this instead. And we'll also then ignore Torkar, but again, Lothern being upgraded to tier 5 is pretty critical because it'll give us access to our final Exalted units, including Exalted Gate Guard, Exalted White Lions, and this Exalted Silver Helms. Good stuff, basically. Alright, upgrade this. Wait, it still takes 5 turns even with the time reduction? You guys are in Evershale, right? Yeah, wow, okay. Oh, we don't have the Rebuild Lost Splendor. Okay, I guess we can start on it next turn. It's alright. It's annoying, but it is alright. Then Lothern. I assume we won't be able to reach Lothern in 1 round or 1 turn. Very close to it, but no. Meaning, if we wanted to, we could recruit more stuff here. But I think perhaps we won't need to. At least right now, so Kevin can wait a bit. He'll be recruiting rather soon again anyway. Anyway, we could actually send him somewhere else to get Sisters of Avalorn, as we're about to start building the army for Ilariel. But we could also do that after upgrading Lothern. We're also building like 1 million armies at once, so yeah. Alright, Belanair, you, sir, are going to get the... okay, let's do this. I guess keep those rangers for now. Probably delete them later, but for now, just hold on to them.
We stand ready for action.
Go, go, go. Oh, actually, I just realized something. Transfer these. This is all going to a different army. So Admin Tyrion, you're going northward.
Truth Seeker.
This is not quite enough to fight, and I did want to get you the Blades of Hoeth as well, I think.
Of Safari.
But I think you are still going north. We could also put you against the Chaos Dwarfs if we really wanted to. It depends on how many armies we end up sending up here. There's a lot of stuff going on up there at the same time. You know what? Go north for now, and then we shall see. I'd like you fighting and leveling. You two, or is it you 3? No, it's you 2. Alrighty, so this has to be delivered to Mr. Corel. And also, Corel, you leave Massive Orcal.
Going forward.
Raid Massive Orcal for Eataine.
Who seeks my wise counsel?
You can't do... because they're not bordering. Trade settlements. Carcassonne. Massive Orcal. For Eataine. Like so. There you go. Enjoy your giant mountain. Oh, wow! Wait, for Carcassonne, it allows them to build huh. I guess it's a unique settlement for them. Well, that's interesting. Well, now I'm glad I gave it to them. Not that I wasn't gonna be glad that shut up. Just do it. You go here. Then we will meet up with Coriel. And then I guess we're gonna send him to help the elves in the forest because, yeah, Belligar is menacing them. Alright, Carthena. We'll take the Exalted Illyrian Reavers, swap them out for Warline Chariots. Admin Avalorosas. So Carthenia, oh right, you're gonna be our cavalry army. You will get the, okay, we'll deal with it later. Tiger Warriors. Swap out the Silverhorn Guard. We don't have Siege Attacker here yet. Keep 2 War Lions. Take out one of these like this. Then I wanted to get Siege Attacker by... Can any of you still switch stances? Yes. If you leave this place, can you enter it? Wait.
Moving on.
Can you... Let's talk to Golden... No, well, actually, yes, but no. Not what I want. Jade Court. No. Wait. No. Western Provinces. Yes. 1, 2. Celestial Lions. There we go. And they have Siege Attackers, so that'll be Coriel's Siege Attackers. They will replace the Great Eagles, and that'll put us up to 19 out of 20, and the Eel Club Ultor is supposed to be replaced by a hero. The Mist Mage is also not supposed to be in this army at all, but we don't have another mage capacity yet, so he'll stay for now, and then we wanted like a noble or something to buff either infantry or cavalry or something in here. Frankly, magical damage out of a swords master, or lore master rather, would be quite nice as well, so either or would work. And the Lore Master can serve as a mage in this army without... Yeah, you know what? Let's put the Lore Master in here. Actually, speaking of, let's take a look at what we have Lore Master-wise. We have... I don't care for either of you. Which Lore Masters did we get? We got you. Healer, Casualty or Punishment Trait in Battle, Healing Cap. You... Wait, you are a princess. Damn it. Okay, just... Who are you? Lore Master with elusive... Ah, yes, we have 2 elusive ones, but they should go into the same army. And not thematic.
Lore Master of
elusive.
My quest continues.
Casualty, punishment rate, and regeneration. You know what? I'm going to say you. You go join Corhill. You'll be his caster. Will you fit in with this army? Sort of. Unfortunately, these guys are very, very inclined to buff the various swords masters. Oh, and I guess we could send the 2 elusive ones to go with Belair now. I guess we're moving all of these guys. All right, you guys move together, please, so I don't forget who you are and where you are. Like so, and like so. And then I guess you're the healer. So I'm going to send you to join Teclis, but I'm going to hope that we can get... Well, I guess we're already transferring you to Teclis, so go here. There we go. At least now we don't have to see frickin' 8 million heroes standing around the place for ages. Also, what do we have here? Another Honed Noble. See, the Honed Noble with... I was looking at a thing. Yeah. Why are you like this? Oh. Huh. Plus, this is free? No influence? I mean, it's only 4 melee attack, but something. Oh, it includes all the infantry except the White Lions. Well, isn't that unfortunate? Oh well. No Mist Mage capacity, no regular mage capacity. Yes, Handmaiden capacity, but not what I'm looking for right now. Alright, well, that's fine as it is. At least we know where these guys are going with 2 Lore Masters. The Swords Master should be pretty decently effective. Also... I suppose that we can then recruit for 1 extra turn. What do we want to recruit here? I had several ideas for the upcoming armies. We are waiting for global... Wait, are you in the settlement? Yes. I second this. We are waiting for global recruitment. There we go, which is not yet available. I was inclined to... Let me just see here. Let's get 2 Sea Elementals, 4 Alariel, and Maybe not the Oceanids. Just go 2 sea elementals. Maybe. What's the fire resistance on these guys? Pretty solid. Yeah, you know what? With the range damage coming in being fire range damage, let's do a couple of those. Anything else? We could give her some of the fancy archers or something like that, but there isn't really any need right now. I think that's it for now. Between the Azra units and the Sisters of Avalorn and the Regiment of Renown, or the legendary unit, the Maiden Guard, I believe? Yes. And the bunch of Sisters of... the bunch of handmaidens in that army, we probably won't have a lot of space for this stuff, so I think this is probably sufficient. Let's go with that. So you had 1 turn left by lead by experience. You know what? Let's get a few more High Elven Rangers and let's get the Exalted Shadow Warriors. I had another army concept with you guys. All right. Just so that they're recruiting still. Good. What's next? Arathon. I did say that we are moving back. We're going to leave Castalton to sort of Inner Norska. So you're going back this way. You're going back this way. All of you are traveling together now. You're all going to get in each other's way, but you can just meet up out here. Nishanra will get her full stack. And we will be happy. For once. Anyway, Annalise, you with Select One Eye are going to debut him? Yes, debut him. Yes, that's what I want. Everything I've ever wanted. Let's go for Vanguard Master. Let's buff up the Handmaiden, who is in here temporarily, I guess, until the Noble comes around. Doesn't mean we can't get a few things here like so. Mist Mage. Go for Obscuring Haze now. I should probably grab Flensing Har. Yeah, let's go for Flensing Har. I wanted Obscuring Haze, but at the same time, there are likely to be, whatchamacallums. You know? Whatchamacallums? Depth Guard in this army. So we gotta be prepared to deal with them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them, in fact. Go. Alrighty, here we go. Select One Eye on field. That's a big beastie. Oh, he looks so happy. He knows he's gonna have a nice meal today. You get pets, buddy. Anyway, here we go. Excited to see him in action, or see him in action again. It's been a while, admittedly, since the Aislan campaign. And once again, damn, this guy looks huge. Even the Rotting Leviathan looks tiny by comparison, although, admittedly, the Rotting Leviathan being present here, I think we'll have some fun with that as well. Anyway, we're going to start the battle off with our Thilmar chariots crashing into the side of the enemy army. The goal being to tie up as many of the enemy range units just as we crest the hill so that they cannot fire upon our advancing spears until the spears are engaged with the enemy melee troops. Of course, the Thilmar chariots can't stay in melee combat because they will be tied down by the Depth Guard and the polearms, and by the looks of it, the Rotting Leviathan chasing them. But all good. I think the strategy did work out. While a few of the enemies got a few ranged shots off, it wasn't all that much. Select One Eye using his mass, and somebody remind me, as soon as we get a Banner of Swiftness, it's gotta go on this big boy. Give him Strider, give him even more speed, and that should be fun. Actually, now I have to remember to try to maybe use... the rolling attacks are always entertaining. Anyway, try to maybe use a Lord that buffs speed for whichever army I put a few more Mareworms in. Anyway, this is what I wanted. The Rotting Leviathan and the Mareworm head towards each other, and we'll begin their clash. The rest of the enemy army is tied up, and while obviously we would be able to mince some infantry a little bit with Select, I think this is a much better contest. Ooh, love the stagger from the little pinch from the Leviathan. Tail smack from Mr. Select there. And is he trying to do a roll attack? Why are you turning like this? Huh? Oh, was there a zombie here that he decided to attack? Okay, dude, don't get distracted. Come on. What are you doing? Either way, CLOAK has lost about 15-20% of his HP. Rotting Leviathan is down to about 50, or by about 50, well, 2 and by both, 50%. Now, the Rotting Leviathan is also taking a little bit of fire from our range units, but they're just firing at whatever they can here, while these two face off against each other. Oh, wow, okay. Looks like the anti-large bonus, plus 50, I believe, on CLOAK is beginning to tell, and the Rotting Leviathan is pretty much done for. And there we go. Fantastic. With the Rotting Leviathan out of the picture, the rest of the fight is actually not quite over. The chariots have been charging through the enemy ranks, and the Silvern Guard and the spears have been doing their best to hold, and by the looks of it, their best has been decent enough for our purposes. Though some of them have taken damage from the enemy Depth Guard, but keep in mind the Depth Guard do explode with some damage around them whenever they reach certain HP thresholds, which makes them a particularly devastating foe for sort of light and medium armored infantry, like the spears. But all good. Either way, the Mist Mage has come down to help out. The Depth Guard are now beginning to disintegrate, and by the looks of it, this battle and debut for CLOAK is ours. Great to see him on field, and I can't wait to build a few more Mereworms, though I believe the other Mereworms are sort of green, more greenish in color, right? This guy works very nicely with our color scheme, especially when he's covered in blood, because it gives him the whole blue and red look that our army has got. Lovely. Alrighty, there we go. A beautiful debut for CLOAK. One Eye, the Mereworm taking on a Rotting Leviathan. Two abyssal titans duking it out for supremacy. Absolutely magnificent. We did take a decent bit of damage, well, unsurprisingly against one of the units of spears and against the Silvern Guard because, well, the Depth Guard are much stronger units, though, admittedly, a lot of their damage came not so much from their axes and polearms, but from those explosion abilities that they have. But that's just the nature of dealing with them. We still have Invocation of Isha, so we'll heal up, so we're free to take the money and the influence, and we still need a heck of a lot of influence, so we'll take it. Like so. Leadership Aura, Pirate Hunter, Rogue Pirate, Sword of Swift Slaying, no thank you. And Hidden Pirate Go, there's that 20k. Lovely. Speed up, or go into full speed stance. There was another army out here. I'm almost tempted to send you to help Teclis against Kairos, though at the same time, Teclis is... well, yeah, these guys are going to take a while to get there. Yeah, but at the same time, we're also delivering this to you, so maybe you should just move to meet with them. I think that also makes sense, so just move this way, I guess. Alright. Nonetheless, lovely work from Annalise. You are still rank 4. Oh, come on, man. I wanted to upgrade you to... another bolt thrower. Though admittedly, we could just side grade one of these. Wow, you have to be rank 6? Why do you have to be a higher rank? Well, I guess... yeah, that's actually that kind of makes sense to me. The bolt thrower crews and the Eagle Claw bolt throwers would already be familiar with how to operate a bolt thrower really, really well, as opposed to the crews and the regular sky cutters, which are archers. Doesn't necessarily mean that their skill will translate to being a ballista guy, I would assume. Wow, that's a lot of what the heck? Bats everywhere. Oh, vampires. Alrighty, anyway, who is... ooh, you know what? Who's next? Another blurb. What do we get? That was the Sea Elementals. We're skipping the Salamanders and War Drums because they're a different faction, but the Athel Tamarha Faith Bearers. Morani... what the heck? Another mutagenic... how many of these do you have? That is infuriating. It didn't hit our entire faction with that, did it? No, it just seems to be these two. And you're about to lose Storag Core. Well, whatever. We have Clark around. Oh, and you might move to take it back. And you're also trespassing. Well, you do it. Though you do like us. Reasonably well, anyway. Anyway, Moranion, Eltharian's father, perished in Grom's destruction of Athel Tamarha, but not all of his household were slain. A few elves, their courage overcome by the sheer size of the Wa, escaped into the woods, leaving their home to its fate. Though these elves soon reclaimed their valor and harried the goblin army as it advanced on Torivres, they ever after blamed themselves for Moranian's death. Since those days, they have fought at Eltharion's side as the Athel Tamarha faith-bearers, hoping to erase their guilt for the father by offering service to the son. Alright, that was a surprisingly short blurb, and the Talons of Torquelada have also a surprisingly short blurb. Alright. At the time of the Dark Elf invasion, it was rare for warriors of Calador to serve upon the gates, for Imric had otherwise been true to his word that the Dragon Realm would stand alone. However, a few regiments chose to go against their prince's wishes, seeing loyalty to their comrades as more important than obedience to their prince. Curious to call a non-Caledorian elf a comrade, but anyway. The Talons of Torquelada were made up of such forces, their defiance all the more paining to Imric as their banner was first raised in the city from which the prince ruled. Alright, who is next? We have... Who is Yorian again? Oh, you're kind of... just go here.
What would you have of me?
All of you are meeting together. We're hoping that these guys can handle all this. We should grab Serpent Jetty. This is going to bother me. We can always buy it from these guys. Transfer other territories up here. Huh. Actually, funnily enough, the Orthodoxy or the Kislevites can hold Chaos territories up here. I used to always give all of the Chaos lands to Boris, but it doesn't seem that he's around in this particular run, so yeah. Also, by the looks of it, Kislev is not doing well, as in Serena Catrin, as I don't see her main armies, and Throg is advancing. And he's kind of difficult to stop. Wastara, you are going to grab another shipwreck here. Until you reach rank 10. Teclis, you're waiting for your reinforcements. Kadril 2. Elven Boogaloo, go out here. Alright, these guys going to sail towards us? I don't see Oshiotla bringing down Pyros, to be perfectly honest. At least I doubt it. Keep stealing tech. Critical failure. Well, useless. I shouldn't have done that. Admittedly, she didn't have... Actually, she had, what, 72% success chance? Eh, whatever. It wasn't a tech thief at the end of the day, and we were waiting to put her into another army, so we're just gonna have to wait until she recuperates. Zenoria, you're fine. Admin, you're fine until we need to recruit for Teclis, and frankly... Oh, right, I wanted to check if we got... where's Reichland? No. So the Golden Order are the only ones that we have, and they don't have access to Luminarchs, and I assume that we don't have access to... Oh. Hello. Jet lines. Wait, that's important. But that's for Western provinces. Which is annoying because we're already recruiting from the Western provinces. Alright, well, the Western provinces are clearly the superior provinces. Judging by all of this. Go figure. Lotus Yakshi? No, one more turn. Wood Elf units, finally. At long last. Great Orthodoxy, not yet. I did want to make a cold army with Frostheart Phoenixes and Frostworms. That would be nice. Anyway, who else is next in the meantime? Tilly, you are heading to meet Tyrion. We should rename you Tillion. Tyrion and Tillion. Anyway, Agiela. Who are you again? Oh, right. You're going to go into this army. Good. Tech Thief. Ooh, level 11. Oh, you have Focus Mind already. Well, screw you too. I mean, that's a good thing, but I assumed you hadn't. I guess we could go for Block Army. It could still be potentially useful to us. I don't think anything else is of use to you on the field. There are actually a bunch of things that are for own armies in province. Oh, Blessing of Knowledge, Hero Success chance. I mean, these guys get a lot of hero success chance. Still not as like 100% E as the Cathans get, but still pretty good. Anyway, let's get this stuff first, and then we'll go through that. And we'll do that for all the Tech Thieves as well. Speaking of, Specialists.
That is beyond my power.
Skill tech. And failure. What is with the failures today? Thank you.
Brave son of Ulthuan.
Though there's nothing here that we would want, we are waiting for rank 10 with you. Who is next? Influencer. You have nearly reached rank 10, and you have. Therefore, we get knowledge of Lizardman affairs. Like so, and max out Scare Influence, and if there's anything else that we get, we will check it later, because that's the important stuff. Alright, who be next? Influencer, you have the Knowledge of Affairs. And I was going for a new trainer with you, which is probably what I'm going to do with the rest of them then. Alright, Spite Reach. And hey, another success. Well done, sir. Tech Thief.
Command me. Setting
Kill Road.
There
we go. 97% success chance. That is pretty good. I'm just waiting for the day when we can delete all the Tech Thieves and thereby replace them with actual mages and actual armies. 'Twould be swovely. Anyway, let us build buildings. Avalorn is waiting for next turn. Lost Isles of Elithis, we are still fortifying because the Dark Elves will probably come here. This place is in the exact same position, although it's probably Cornates from the Carnate Sons that will attack. Cragroth Deep. Yes to the Haven, yes to the Exotic Animal Tamer. You will go for the Elven Craftsman. Tyranarch. Yes, Shrine of Remembrance is a tier 3, it will start at tier 3. Hall of Charioteers. We've certainly been putting chariots to good use in this particular run. Again, similar to... Oh, you still have the frickin' Nurgle Plague. Okay, yeah. I was gonna switch the commandment. I'm not happy about it either. Anyway, yeah, in previous Elven runs, I didn't use the chariots quite as much, and that's what... I mean, basically, like I said before, we're using all the stuff in this run more that I didn't use as much in previous runs. That's working for me. Anyway, Lost Splendor, delete this, go for the Craftsman, please. Mountains of Heaven. Again, we are transferring this to the White Tiger, but only after this army will hopefully hold ground. Or survive, you know what I mean. Alright, just stay there. Altar of Ultimate Darkness. I feel like we should rename that to something. But anyway. Vol's Anvil and Temple of Death is fortified. I'm going to leave Hag Hall fortified as well. It's not going to generate a lot of cash, but I figure there's some likelihood that something happens here. And then somebody attacks somebody or draws us into the war, so I feel like we should fortify around Vol's Anvil because it's so critical to our faction with that lovely 8% upkeep reduction. Griffinwood, you can collect money because we are going to be transferring you to other Wood Elves. And Lorelorn Forest, yes, we want to upgrade you. And build the tier 3 Lorelorn Forest upgrade. I would have revived the Wood Elves of the Aeonir here, but it's not possible without additional mods, and also it's too late now to think about it, so that's life. Diplomacy, then turn Undefining. New trade agreements, I guess we just wait for Lotus Yakshi and hope that they survive. Spirits of Shanlin, I actually kind of forgot about you. How about 2.3k, eh? The defensive alliance I want, but they don't really want to do that. What don't they like? They seem to be reasonably friendly with everybody around them. In fact, it's completely neutral, but, you know, close enough. No diplomatic contact. They're obviously not leaving this place. The Slaneshi don't like them much. You know, I'm going to pay for this just so this starts climbing a little bit. Just, if another Wood Elf unit or another Wood Elf faction, we can gain access to their stuff, that would be just lovely. Oh, hello. Oh, we already have the defense alliance with you. What about... the Ice Court?
None shall question me.
No defensive alliance with you, and minus 0.04.
What news do you bring to the
2k, you know what? We'll do it.
friend?
A pleasure.
We want access to their stuff, and frankly, I would like vision of their stuff as well. Kislev? Oh, you're allied with somebody. Okay, I don't know who you were allied with, but it is what it is. What is the next best place that will give us access to the most stuff? Frostworms is the main thing. I am not seeing Frostworms. Are you unable to build Frostworms anywhere? You have got to be kidding me. Yeah, no wonder you're losing. Frostworms are fantastic in SFO. And they're better in vanilla than they used to be. Just triple checking. Ah. Well, you are of no real use then. Maybe they can build it out of here, out of Kislev. They have the things in the woods. I don't remember which... I guess we have the Ice Guard here at the very least. Huh. I genuinely don't remember which building unlocks the Frostworms. I swear it was this building. I could be wrong. Alright, let's do Forchakova because it's fortified, I guess. Also, this place has walls, so... yeah. Forchakova is kind of close to these guys. Wait, how well defended is it? It's a main settlement. What is this? Provides garrison. Ooh, Cherokee Forest. Has a slightly better garrison. Yeah, but the quality of troops isn't quite the same. I'm still gonna do Forchakova. I'm just gonna try not to regret it. Where's Forchakova? Wait. Don't tell me. Oh no, it's not here. Oh, screw it. It just goes Cherokee Forest. Ah, but it has less units. Thickens me. What else is fortified but has decent stuff? Volksgrad? Is Volksgrad an option? How many allies do you have? There we go. Go Volksgrad. Alright, that took way longer than I was expecting. Or hoping, or skip, and end the turn. Are we besieging anything? Maybe. I guess we're about to find out. Ah, no new attack from Nurgle, but I'm willing to bet that since they've declared, well, since we're fighting them now, more likely than not, what will happen is that Kugath is moving his main army towards us, so we gotta be ready for him with our fire army when it comes around. Speaking of being ready, it looks like Ostrogoth Ironhand has decided to attack Alistar. He's a little gob heavy. Now... this is exactly the kind of army that I would personally tend to build, as gotta love the Hobgobs. Tier 1 is a travesty for Hobgob sneaky gits, they're fantastic. But anyway, I think he's gonna get minced. Go.
Asuryan wills it.
Alrighty, here we go. Alistar is still a little bit damaged from the last fight against the Chaos Dwarfs, but luckily we can heal him up with a regrowth, and he should be about full HP by the time Ostrogoth makes his way onto the battlefield. Now, Ostrogoth's own army is a little bit weaker than the army that we faced off against previously against the Chaos Dwarfs. But at the very least, that's just the units. What he does have is abilities. Ostrogoth himself, of course, who's going to be pretty strong. He does have his Bull Centaur renders, and there's another Flame and Shadow, I believe, coming down on our war lines and on the enemy as well. But this time it's Gob Laborers, and Work Laborers, so it doesn't make sense. And yeah, Ostrogoth's got a few heroes. I believe he has a Castellan and a Bull Centaur Toruk to lead the Bull Centaur renders. So we will have to be wary of those, plus I think I saw either a Bale Taurus or a Great Taurus. I suppose it won't matter until, well, it won't matter because it'll be dead in short order. Anyway, the war lines charge in. We're not sending in the Rangers or the White Lines, just the fast movers in this particular case. And the enemy Lord gets surrounded as Alistar leads Rahagra's Pride while on his chariot, with a little bit of help from the Eagles, which again have been quite helpful in this particular army. They're not staying in it, but yeah. A few units of Eagles is a great addition to pretty much any army, so... it's not surprising that we have them here and there. Plus, they're shockingly cheap. That's another thing. For how good they are shockingly cheap. Anyway, the Lord is done. The Hobgob and Orc Laborers have been annihilated, and Ostrogoth has arrived on the battlefield, so we're going to back off towards our main force. And not so much because we have to. Frankly, it might have given us some advantage to fight Ostrogoth right here in the forest, where neither his archers nor his, well, basically any unit with a range would have suffered most of its accuracy being lost due to the trees, or its, you know, the projectiles being blocked. But at the same time, A, I don't like fighting the enemies near the edge of the map, and B, if we did fight them close to the edge of the map, the rather fast-moving Gobos and Hobgobos, whatever, would have simply run off the battlefield, and that's not necessarily something that we want here. We want to be able to chase down and destroy as many of them as possible. Especially after that travesty of a bug at the massive Orcal. Anyway, we fire off a few shots first at the Bale Taurus, and then following up by firing them off at the units of Bull Centaur Renders. These are rank 9, so I do imagine the reason that we haven't gotten a stronger stack out of Ostrogoth, despite the fact that he's rank 23, is the fact that he seems to probably have never lost a fight. This is probably his starting army. I think the super high rank Bale Taurus and the super high rank Bull Centaur renders explain that. But I suppose Astragoth is in a pretty good position in the Darklands. If he's not fighting Grimgor, he's generally speaking going to be fine. And I guess he wasn't fighting Grimgor this time around, because we saw Grimgor and Tamarkand advancing southward, and they've nearly destroyed Bashiva, so yeah. Anyway, looks like the battle has begun. We've run our war lines around the enemy ranks this time around, crashing into the enemy Hobgob Sneaky Gits, as well as those units of Hobgob Archers. Enemy's going to drop another Flame and Shadow or whatever other ability upon our units, hitting their own units at the same time in order to damage us, but that's fair. Once again, it's fair when it's white lines and such. And I didn't know that this would actually work, but this is an interesting use of Burning Wrath by the AI. Rather than launching it at a unit, it launches the entire volley of Burning Wrath at our Life Mage, and all the projectiles surprisingly accurate at this range, despite being attacked by Alistar and Noble at the same time. All of them impact the Life Mage, taking about half of her HP and damage. This is pretty neat. I'm going to try to remember that you can do this with Burning Wrath, but it would seem that it probably would only work if your unit was standing still. If she was moving around, this never would have done anything, so... Still an interesting use of it, though. I typically just spam that thing into blobs of units. It gets a ton of kills for its cost, but I hadn't really considered using it for single entities. It's pretty neat. It does say strong versus multiple units on it, and he does it again to the Life Mage. This time, I guess some of them went wide this time, but still doing very good work. And the Vortex actually does prevent even a hero from moving out of it, little mini vortexes, that is. That's pretty neat. Not neat enough, however, as Astragoth's army is down to the dregs now. The bounce power has shifted to about 90% in our favor. Astragoth, of course, still in the fight, and, annoyingly, is willing to drop artillery directly upon himself to once again damage us. And again, I consider that very cheap, so I never do that myself, with, you know, a single lord just forcing the enemy to blob up. But at the same time, I guess if the player is dumb enough to blob up, i.e. me here, then deserves to be punished for it. It's not like we can expect the AI to limit itself in a similar fashion. Either way, Astragoth breaks after that little artillery barrage. His army is done for. The Eagles have torn the Bale Taurus out of the sky, while our princess has defeated the Infernal Castellan. And down here, the war lines overran the enemy backliners, and one enemy unit remains. The Bull Centaur Torok has a unbreakable trait. I do remember one of the traits offering them unbreakable. So it's just going to keep fighting. Unfortunately for it, it's fighting Rahagra's Pride here. 97 weapon strength. Actually, that's actually fairly low on a unit with 16 models. If we compared it to something like, I don't know, Minotaurs or, well, really any monstrous infantry. Well, no, some monstrous infantry hit way harder than others. I just remember certain Chaos spawn with buffs going up to over 200 weapon strength. With like 12 units, and this is 16. I mean, it's still obviously a lot of damage, and the other thing that is to be considered here is that Rahagra's Pride are large units, or the war lines are large units, but they're not that large, in the sense that a lot more of them can attack a single unit at the same time than a unit of monstrous infantry can, so perhaps that would explain that, despite their lower numbers. Plus, obviously, their lower numbers confer a lot more HP on each individual unit, or each individual model within the unit, as compared to these guys. It's just that here we can see on Miltzi's Pride, where they have 72 weapon strength, despite the fact that they have twice the number of the Rahagra's Pride, who only have 97. Feels like they could be bumped up a teensy bit, maybe, but nah, it's not like they're bad. They're very, very strong. Glittering Scales. That's a nice pickup. I'm really hoping that we can find the Death Singer and whatever the other one is, the two weapons that give regeneration, because since we have the Lion Pelt on Alistar, we can't give him that Gilded Cuirass, which I'm saving for whoever is going to be on a similar big target. Like the White Lion Chariot, like a Griffin, like a Dragon, they will need regeneration more than Footlords or horse lords, etc., etc., etc. Hence, having not put it on anybody as yet after Tyrion. I was also hoping to give it back to Tyrion at the time, but the Helmdreska just refusing to pop still, and we're down to 3 turns remaining on the Confederation reduction. Ideally, we'd want to pop a quest at 2 turns. Do we just give up on Helmdreska? What do you guys think? It would be nice to get the trade. Not necessary, but nice. Anyway, for now, a very nice fight sees Ostrogoth's army absolutely obliterated, with the Pride of Ulthuan showing up, getting 30,000 damage and 370 kills. Though the Rangers were no slouches either. The best performing one getting 300 kills and 22,000 damage as well, and being the Kernus Striders. For the Kitties at 38,000 damage and a massive 407 kills, and better than anyone, it's the White Claws, though they also did take a lot of damage, and damn those Chaos Dwarf abilities, they just won't stop coming down. Oh, so many of those. Good lord. On the bright side, though, it's another win for us, and we're in our own territory, so we should heal to full, so we're free to ransom those captives. Eventually, maybe we'll start killing captives, just in case there is a whatchamacallit, a trait for doing that. I don't know if there is, but I assume that there is. Military alliance for Eataine. How about you stop fighting the Wood Elves like a giant idiot, and then we'll talk, buddy. Huh. Oh, Beckhofen looks pretty cool. Harganeth attacks Snaggareth. Yeah, you see what happens. Do you see? You could have started by attacking Harganeth, but no. I'm gonna be salty about this for I don't know, for the next several campaigns, Eataine, so yeah, every time I see you now. Anyway, yeah, we'll enter war inside of Ella. We were gonna go attack Kron Hillebron anyway, and we wanted to take Harganeth as it has a couple of landmarks. Oh, what do we have here? I'll take a look at Beckhofen. Looks pretty cool. Oh, right, we've seen this before, the Red Teeth Tavern. Yeah. The Dwarf Beer, the Ogre Mercenary thing. There is one ogre faction that we... Whoa. Athelloran. Arguelon, owner. Waterfall Palace, a moment. Yep, it looks like they've taken on... Oh, is Durthu destroyed? They literally killed Durthu. Okay, now you guys realize we have to kill them now, right? And most likely it will mean we have to kill Karazakarak. Well, on the bright side, this will mean fighting some Order-Tide factions, but... the Durthu. Yeah, that's a shame. Well, unfortunately for them, Coril's on the way. Peace treaty with Clan Rickek. No peace treaty.
My people have striven to keep you from our realm.
Exactly, Tyrion, exactly. Non-aggression pact. I'm gonna say we'll non-aggression pact with whoever wins out of this little brawl that you two have going. I am at least somewhat interested in the outcome. Cassian de Caravans, military alliance. There is no need. Why get drawn into wars? I can't believe the other Wood Elves did. What is... Oh, wow. Black Buckthorn. We can't win this. Even with the Croxagors, the Yelgren. The problem is the Giant Slayers. Well, the problem is everything. The Ironbreakers. Oh, man. Our first convoy. Yeah, you're definitely gonna sink. If we had if this was the Wood Elf convoy, if we had those war dancers, we could at least sort of carve our way through the Slayers rather quickly and then use our mobility. Here, though, I fear that without mobility, the rather slow-moving white lines at only 34 move speed, barely faster than a dwarf, and actually slower than Slayers. If a dwarf is outrunning you, you're probably not going very fast. So, yeah, that's gonna be a problem. Oh, honestly, even the Crocscorns aren't very fast at 45 move speed. Oh well, a last stand for a convoy, I suppose. Black Buckthorn. We hadn't spotted him at any point earlier, so... Oh, I wish I remembered where you were going. That's gonna be a problem now, because... Oh, well, whatever, go.
I shall always guide and hearten you, defenders of Ulthuan, to battle! Our units patrol the skies!
Alright, well, try to guide them to dying well, because I expect this is not going to go well by any means. Their enemy troop quality and general tiers and numbers are much higher than ours here, and the enemy lords rank 20, where we're rank, what, 5? And at the same time, can't buff any of our units because this is a convoy, and the convoy lords have to focus on other stuff. Anyway, how are we going to fight this, or attempt to fight this? So, this map has a couple of interesting locations in it. The first one is exactly where we start, where there's a big old wood. What we could have done in theory is just go directly into the woods. In fact, we could have... This is part of our deployment zone, so just start there. The entire enemy army would have been forced to move towards us, unable to use their artillery at all. And if we withdrew further and further into the wood, probably draw the enemy back to the point where their range units would have been completely useless. The main issue with that is our own range units would then have been relatively useless, as well as their own range fire would have been blocked off. The other interesting place on this map is this. There is a big plateau that is completely protected from several sides on this side of the map. Now, unfortunately, it is on the enemy's side of the map, so what we're trying to do is make use of our speed to sort of rush across the enemy's front line and down towards this plateau, as I ultimately decided that this was the way to go. It's a gamble, because if the enemy army reaches us while we're exposed, we're just going to die. But at the same time, their artillery is slow, with 20 movement speed, and by virtue of it, the enemy army should maintain speed with the rest of their artillery, for a while at least, and thusly maybe allow us to outrun them, since we do move a teensy bit faster. Though the terrain is not helping as we try to move uphill here. Actually a fairly significant buff. Anyway, well, let's see how this goes. It does look like we are going to be able to reach the plateau here. Now, if you're wondering why I really wanted this plateau, other than the fact that it's protected on all sides, well, for one, this is effectively a choke point that we can force. Two, we have indirect arcing fire bows in terms of our range units. The enemy has thunderers and organ guns. They are going to be completely useless here. If we take position up on the plateau, they will not be able to get off a single shot. So that effectively knocks out, what, maybe 30% of the enemy army's capabilities? Maybe 25%. They don't actually have that much range. 3 thunderers and 2 organ guns. Oh, they do have the iron drakes, but they may actually be willing to use their iron drakes to fire into their own units. We shall see. Anyway, we do have one fast-moving unit that we can use to harass the enemy. And we're going to send the Phoenix down to go after the organ guns. Now, like I said, I don't think that the organ guns would have really been a threat in this particular army, as if we take position up on that plateau, they'll never be able to actually land a shot due to their direct fire problem. But it's not like we shouldn't, you know, while we're here, damage them. Huh, don't you guys have a minimum distance? How do they fire off at the Phoenix there? What the heck? Okay, well, maybe they don't have a minimum fire range. Go figure. Anyway, this is something for the Phoenix to do, even if these guys will be useless. And he damages them, forces them off their artillery pieces, and then backs off before the other organ guns can annoy him, and the enemy has moved away. Either way, this works in our favor. If the enemy had kept a few units to protect the organ guns, that would have been units that were not with the main army, and would have worked in our favor, since they are effectively protecting useless artillery pieces in this particular terrain. They didn't do it, but this just means that we can tear apart the crews and make sure that they can completely sure that they can't fire anything. Now, we are going to set up. First thing is going to be to do our best to target the enemy Slayers. They are somewhat physically resistant at 25%, but with no missile resistance and no armor whatsoever. Even the basic High Elven Ranger should be able to do some damage to them, as well as the Lothern Seaguard. Obviously, with the super heavily armored dwarfs that we have here, several units of iron breakers and hammers and whatnot, we have to make sure that our archers target the units that they can actually damage, which is the Slayers. Plus, we don't really want the Slayers fighting our white lions and such, as it's a decent matchup for the enemy. Anyway, we've taken position up on the plateau, with the exception of one unit here, hidden behind the cliffside, waiting in the jungles so familiar to them. Well, maybe not jungles, but, you know, got, like, jungle-ish trees and whatnot, are the 2 units of Kroxigors. And the plan being to wait until the entire enemy melee line is engaged and then rush out of hiding to hit the enemy in the back line. Ooh, does look like our Phoenix is going to take a few volleys from the Thunderers. The first of the enemy units of Slayers close the distance, attempting to rush our range units, but we quickly rush them with our unit of Phoenix Guard, the the Sea Helm, and then close the distance with the White Lions and rapidly tear them to shreds. We do have more Slayers. In fact, I think the enemy has 2 units of Giant Slayers here, which is obviously a major concern. These guys will be heavily damaging, and ooh, there we go, that was nice coordination from the dwarfs, I gotta say. Just before the giants close the distance, the satchel charges are thrown by the Ironbreakers. We'll try to move towards the enemy a little bit to tie up more units and maybe use the dwarfs as shields, but it seems that they are willing to throw the satchel charges into their own lines. It doesn't seem like the dowiest thing to do, but I suppose if they're throwing them where the Slayers are, it's kind of what the Slayers signed up for. If anything, they're kind of helping them, fulfill their oaths. Anyway, the enemy line is now engaged, and Giant Slayers, Longbeards, Ironbreakers, well, for now it's just the faster-moving Slayers, are fighting the Phoenix Guard and the White Lions. Can we hold them back? Remains to be seen. Against the Chaos Dwarfs, we've seen the armor sundering effect of and it does look like the Iron Drakes are willing to fire here, which is not so great. Anyway, the other thing about this choke point is that since we have a Phoenix on field, the more that the enemy blobs up, the more effectiveness that we can get out of the choke point, though I hadn't counted on the fact that the AI would be willing to damage its own army so much with their blasting charges. So the choke point is in that effect working against us, but it's also working against the enemy, as the Wake of Fire will hit the heaviest concentration of enemy dwarfs, damaging them significantly, and popping up about 39,000 damage. In the meantime, the time has come with the enemy melee line primarily engaged, with the exception of 1 unit of Ironbreakers, which was just hanging back and chucking blasting charges at each other. The Kroxigors will rush out of hiding and close the distance, going after those Iron Drakes and the Thunderers that were still able to fire. And not only that, but forcing the enemy range units to, because of their skirmish mode or because of their programmed behavior, rush to the melee because they use the melee essentially to protect them. And that works in our favor as well. There we go. Now the enemy has been tied up, and it's a matter of, well, steel on steel, no more tactics, and just a brawl. Will the Kroxigors, White Lions, and the single unit of Phoenix Guard be enough to overcome the Giant Slayers, Hammerers, and Ironbreakers? The enemy has greater numbers and veterancy and troop quality, but I still think we had the better strategy here. The Kroxigors are also mincing their way through the poorly defended enemy Thunderers, which they will crush with gusto. And between the Thunderers and the Iron Drakes all destroyed by the Kroxigors, this will also mean that there will be morale shocks to the enemy army due to army losses, and as soon as we're done, we can crash into the rear lines of all those, various units. I'm going to say Longbeards and Ironbreakers and Hammerers at this point, just because I think most of the Giant Slayers are gone. There's a few of them remaining, but probably not for long. And there we go, time for the units of Kroxigors to close the distance. The enemy Lord has at this point also been defeated by the Silver Helm and by the Phoenix Guard, which did surround him, but the Phoenix Guard did take about 80% of their HP and damage. Bounce of Power is slightly in our favor at about 60%, but it's not quite there, and I also want to point out that we are no longer really doing any damage with our range units. Yes, we can fire at the enemy, but with the Slayers all gone, the super heavy armor and shielding on all the units means that our non-armor piercing range units, the basic High Elven Archers and Lothern Sea Guard, are effectively doing nothing. And so, if you're wondering what they're firing at, most of them, with the one exception that is firing at the Iron Drakes, which are fragile enough to still damage. Despite their heavy armor, they have low HP. The other thing is that our range units will be firing into the backs of any fleeing units to make sure, or attempt to make sure, that they do not rout, or rally rather. That they stay routing and hopefully shatter. Our Croxagores are doing the same thing, making sure to either chase enemies off the map or otherwise destroy them. Also, these Ironbreakers were... I misclicked. These Ironbreakers were forced to use some of their satchel charges on the Croxagores rather than our main line, and frankly that worked in our favor because the Croxagores don't take much damage, or Monstrous Infantry don't take much damage from it. Anyway, there we go. The High Elven banners still fly and the dwarfs will break. It looks like the strategy paid off, if just barely, as we had very little HP remaining on our melee line, and our range units in this particular battle were not going to be all that helpful. They just still did decent damage, but primarily by focusing down the 4 units of Slayers, 2 Giant, 2 Regular, that the enemy had. Very, very nice. It was certainly a gamble going out this way rather than fighting here, but I felt like with this disabling us and there being no choke point to funnel the enemy to, this was the better play. And it did work out. And there we go. I once again was not expecting to win this battle by any means, and I am very pleasantly surprised to see that we managed to pull that off. It was extraordinarily dicey, a Pyrrhic victory against an obnoxious army for a convoy without red line buffs or anything like that to face off against, but yeah, we made them suffer, we made them pay for this attempted attack on us. It was an absolutely glorious fight, and I once again don't think anyone can say that the convoy mod is not amazing. We had the 2 best battles of the campaign so far as these convoy battles after all, and the sort of stacks being much stronger than ours have certainly made it very interesting. The White Lions in the fight were tremendously instrumental, as their armor piercing as very much needed against the heavily armored dwarfs, who, interestingly, were perfectly willing to chuck blasting charges into their own in order to damage us. We had our Flamespire Phoenix take severe damage, but dropping those Wake of Fires on the enemy allowed us to do 61,000 damage even through the armor. Patience paid off, as the cold-blooded Croxagores were able to wait until the enemy main line was engaged and then wreak havoc upon their Thunderers and their Iron Drakes, and just overall absolutely magnificent fight. Oh, and our Sea Helm together with the Phoenix Guard were able to kill off Black Buckthorn himself. We're gonna heal here. I don't know how quickly these little rogue fleets recover. I'm a little bit worried that they'll recover pretty much instantly, but we'll see. Either way, a historic battle for Hjelgrin here, and another convoy that did fantastically well. Ooh. Oh, the glittering scales were stolen from the enemy rather than... What is this? What do you want? 5 control faction-wide, 10 growth for all provinces. Gotta go with the control, especially since some of our places are not super control-y. It's a word. Anyway, courtiers are often expected to spend large stretches of time at court, living and operating under the suffocating political intrigue of Lothern. The messengers of the Phoenix King are able to weave through the lodgings of the courtiers, disseminating information that helps or hinders them. Likewise, the king can make life comfortable for certain courtiers, or extremely unpleasant. All is at his whim. Spread messages of unity. The closer Ulthuan is, the better for all the realms. All the realm. Whatever. Alright, Ala begins happen. What is this? This is another convoy. This is a different one. Oh, right, this is the one with the war dancers and wood elves and stuff. It's just marauders and stuff. Comparatively, this is not that much. Wait, does attacking them not actually give us any reward here? What the heck? So we'd be tired in battle, but we actually get no reward, no bonus cargo or anything like that? I mean, we wouldn't have any problem with the marauders here. Plague Toads might be of some issue, but at the end of the day, we do have range units. Odd that it gives us no reward. I would save this for another episode. I should. But if I don't, if we do this right now, at the cost of the longer episode, I could do the moving of the heroes between the episodes, saving the time. Whereas if I don't, then I'll have to do it during next episode, which means we're fighting. You know what, I'm going to quick save because at this point, if this game crashes after this long episode, I am going to be extremely sad. Let's do this quick.
Asuryan watches us from the heavens and sees our brilliant ranks of peerless warriors to victory!
I like that he threw in brilliant ranks of fearless warriors. I assume he means that they're shiny, and he just had to throw that in there. Elves. Anyway, here we go. We got Nurgle lights against us, and I don't imagine we should have too much trouble. At the very least, our infantry is so vastly superior to theirs, or at the very least, the 2 units of War Dancers. Obviously, the Eternal Guard. Actually, it's a kind of an interesting matchup, the Eternal Guard against the Marauders of Nurgle with great weapons. But anyway, what we're going to do to start off is actually have the Iron Fists Ogres crash into the Plague Toads. The reason being twofold. One, to prevent the lethal poison from being applied to our infantry units, and we can use our Ogre Bolts to tie up the Toads just fine, which will allow our range units to fire into their backs with the current way that we have the enemy position. It also ties up the Cavalry to actually crash into the enemy's rear lines, while the range units will start off by going after the enemy spawn of Nurgle, since they're going to be stronger on the main line than the Plague Toads are, though Plague Toads and SFO are not to be underestimated either, as I've gotten a lot of good use out of them in the past myself. Fortunately though, the... Ow, what are you doing, camera? What the heck are you... Okay, weird. Anyway, it kept like, yeah, what is that? Anyway, I forgot what I was saying because the camera was distracting me. What's important is that the Chaos Spawn are destroyed and our range units are now firing into those Plague Toads, and once they're freed up we can move the Eternal Guard with their anti-large to tie up the Toads instead and dish out additional damage. The Cavalry will of course work overtime to smash into the enemy's rear lines and will wreak a fearsome tally amongst the enemy infantry. But regardless of what the Cavalry do, the War Dancers are here and their twin blades will mess the enemy up. I was kind of tempted to put a few twin blade units once we have access to those Wood Elf units. Game. Put a few of them together with Bellinaire and the Swordsmasters. With every Swordsmaster sort of blade style being unique, I feel like maybe it makes sense that they might be able to learn from the War Dancers. Plus, the High Elf units don't really have too much of a representation of CLOAK. They don't really have the hobos that the Wood Elves have. And I feel like CLOAK deserves a little bit more in the way of representation. Although at the same time, I'm sure that perhaps I'm just wondering on which units... Well, I mean, we can't really make a CLOAK-themed army. We could put Shadow Warriors together with some... but Shadow Warriors are more about vengeance than... more about vengeance than they are about... venerating CLOAK, I think, so I would imagine that the Shadow Warriors would be more for a Drakira-themed army, being the goddess of vengeance. I'm just trying to think of anything else on the roster. Anyway, either way and anyway, I think the Twin Blade War Dancers will work nicely with some Swordsmasters. Either way, though, this Nurglite army is done for. We did take some damage on one of the Lothern Sea Guard, but these had to work double time as a melee unit, so it does make sense that they got that they had a fairly bad time against the armor-piercing great axes of the Marauders. Anyway, quick little fight. Nice. Alright, there we go. Quick little fight sees the enemy absolutely annihilated. Call it a little bit of early revenge for the Nurglite attack on our newly acquired territories. And the revenge went fairly well. Roughly even damage out of the Silver Helms with lances and the Knights Errant here, interestingly enough. The Iron Fists were unfortunately a little bit busy keeping the Plague Toads from doing anything, but it allowed us to fire into their backs with our range units. Unsurprisingly, the War Dancers minced their way through Marauders and Chaos Warriors alike, and the enemy army was otherwise defeated. Just in case we get attacked again, we'll force the labor, because who knows. Allied against outpost construction, mission aborted. I assume they took out this army themselves. Please don't go past this. Please take it. We went away from it. I swear if you don't take it, I'm going to be so annoyed. Anyway, Alistar, you got the effect duration and effect range for Lures of Death, Fire, and Metal, which we do have access to, so Astrogod's got a pretty nice trait for the High Elves. Yes, I wanted to take a look at Beckhofen. It does look pretty neat, as many of these places do. And the spell resistance is also going to be nice on you. Post-battle loot, Creator, Corel, Seafarer, enemy killed in battle. Valeriath's Robe, this is good for casters that are not fighty casters at the cost of the weapon strength. Free Bard, Casualty or Punishment trait, hello. Master Rune of Alea. Huh, wait, that means a convoy reached its destination, I take it. Colin got an eagle. Who is Colin? Oh, you, yes. You stay on the Eagle. Arathon, this is another Arathon. I don't know if you should be on an Eagle or on a Chariot. In fact, I think you should be on an Eagle, because if you're in this particular army, you will need to be able to get to this portion of the battlefield faster, and we don't have Vanguard deployment on you, do we? On foot we don't, and yeah, none of these give you Vanguard deployment, so unless we can get you an item that gives you that, then keep the Eagle just to respond. Move with the army faster. Somebody else got an Eagle. Who are you? You can stay on that Eagle. Harganeth. Okay, everybody's performing scheme. Sylvania destroyed. Well done to the Empire. Arguelon destroyed. Yeah, we're paying the dwarfs back for that one tenfold. Huh. Yeah, still a little bit annoyed that the other Wood Elves didn't help Durthu out at all. This is on them, but yeah, Belgar has to die now. Nurgle, Arguelon Outpost lost, Tor-Akar, Harkaldra, Bordalo Wine Market, Borath is ready for duty, Tilly Archmage of Life, Fastakar, Kulal, Quolsh, Adelia Archmage, High... rank 12? Huh. Did we reset you? Because rank 12 is good, isn't it? Character skills 8, battle skills 4. I assume you have the appropriate skills anyway. You're fine. Yeah, these are all the Confederated Lords. Gilgallion. Yes, sure. And then insulated supplies. We're not at 200 yet, but we're very close. Oh, this is the first regular Sovereign Guard that we recruited, isn't it? Before we recruited, I presume... No, wait, we did recruit. Did we not? We recruited Exalted Sovereign Guard, which might not count. We're not counting the Salamanders or the Celestial Alliance because they are other units. And Yelgrin has reached Barakavar. 2 Longbeards. The irony is real. After all that, 2 Longbeards. Well, he had to kill some dwarves to get some dwarves apparently. And where did we fight Black Buckthorn? It should have been here somewhere, right? Well, I'm not 100% sure. I would assume that his faction is still alive. Are the rogue fleets down here somewhere? Yeah, Bleak Coast Buccaneers. We can't see them anymore, which is kind of irritating because they're now hostile to us and will undoubtedly attack again if we catch sight of them. But since we can't see them... maybe they're down here somewhere? No, wait, we should... Huh. Aren't we supposed to... gain sight of all water territories? That's kind of a thing that we have, which is why we can see the islands everywhere. So where the heck is Black Buckthorn? Huh. Well, that's strange. Tremendously strange. Where are you going, by the way? You're going to Socotra. Alright, so that means this sort of area is finished. We've been to Sudenburg. We haven't been to the Fortress of Dawn. And I don't believe we've been to the monoliths. We haven't been to Ehrengrad, Sjokktrek, and Marienburg, Altdorf, and then any of these places. There's still more convoying into even more dangerous waters to do, which I'm excited for, but alas, we are out of time, and I'm going to have to call this particular episode here. Next time, we'll get Architectural Unity, which should speed up matters for our construction, which will be good in getting more units and stuff, and I'm sure there will be other things to do, battles to fight, etc., influence to take. Should be a fun time. I'll move the heroes between the episodes, but for now, calling it here. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to leave those likes and comments below, as they will determine how long this campaign continues to run for. All glory to the algorithm, and thanks for watching.